ChatGPT is suddenly everywhere, but is the world ready for it? Let's dive in, shall we? For a product that its own creators in a marketing pitch once declared too dangerous to release to the general public, OpenAI's ChatGPT is seemingly everywhere these days. The versatile automated text generation ATG system, which is capable of outputting copy that is nearly indistinguishable from a human writer's work. It's officially still in beta, but has already been utilized in dozens of novel applications, some of which extend far beyond the roles ChatGPT was originally intended for. Like that time it simulated an operational Linux shell, or that other time when it passed the entrance exam for Wharton Business School. The hype around ChatGPT is understandably high, with myriad startups looking to license the technology for everything from conversing with historical figures to talking to historical literature. I don't know if you could talk to literature, but go then. Let's try, right? From learning other languages to generating exercise routines and restaurant reviews. But with these technical advancements come with a slew of opportunities for misuse and outright harm. And if our previous ham-fisted attempts at handling the spread of deepfake videos and audio technologies were any indication, we're dangerously unprepared for the havoc at scale. Automated disinformation production will wreak havoc on our society. Or will it? Let's see what they have to say. OpenAI's billion-dollar origin story. OpenAI has been busy since its founding in 2015 as a nonprofit by Sam Altman, Peter Thiel, Reid Hoffman, Elon Musk, and a host of other VC luminaries who all collectively chipped in a cool $1 billion to get the organization up and running. The Austriac venture agrees that AI should be an extension of individual humans' will, and in the spirit of liberty, broadly and evenly distributed is possible. Yeah, that'd be the goal, but someone has to invest in it, right? Well, if we get a lot of companies, maybe it will be actually pretty evenly distributed. Let's continue. The following year, the company released its first public beta of the OpenAI Gym reinforcement learning platform. Musk resigned from the board in 2018, citing a potential conflict of interest with the ownership of Tesla. It's probably true. They're also going ham on AI, so true. 2019 was especially eventful for OpenAI. That year, the company established a capped-for-profit subsidiary, OpenAI LP, to the original nonprofit OpenAI Inc. organization. Received an additional $1 billion funding infusion from Microsoft and announced plans to begin licensing its products commercially. Go with them. Why not? Get it. In 2020, OpenAI officially launched GPT-3, a text generator able to summarize legal documents, suggest answers to customer service inquiries, propose computer code, and run text based on role-playing games. The company released its commercial API that year as well. I have to say, I'm blown away, startup founder Aaron Sabetti wrote at the time after interacting with the system. It's far more coherent than any AI language system I've ever tried. All you have to do is write a prompt, and it'll add text it thinks would plausibly follow. I've gotten it to write songs, stories, press releases, guitar tabs, interviews, essays, technical manuals. It's hilarious and frightening. I feel like I've seen the future. That's kind of cool take. 2021 saw the release of DALL-E, a text-to-image generator, and the company made headlines again last year with the release of Chat GPT, a chat client based on GPT 3.5, the latest and current GPT iteration. In January 2023, Microsoft and OpenAI announced a deepening of their research cooperative with a multi-year, multi-billion-dollar ongoing investment. I think it does an excellent job at spitting out text that's plausible, Dr. Brandy Nenick, director of Citrus Policy Lab and associate professor of technology policy research at UC Berkeley, told Engadget. It feels like somebody really wrote it. I've used it myself actually to kind of get over writer's block, to just think through how I flow in an argument that I'm trying to make. So I found it helpful. I mean, something like that for something so simple, it's already useful. Very interesting. That said, Nona cannot look past the system's stubborn habit of producing false claims. It will cite articles that don't exist, she added. Right now, at this stage, it's realistic, but there's still a long way to go. What is generative AI? Let's get into that a little bit, if you don't know. OpenAI is far from the only player in the ATG game. Generative AI, or more succinctly, Gen AI, is the practice of using machine learning algorithms to produce novel content, whether that's text, images, audio, or video, based on a training corpus of labeled example databases. It's your standard unsupervised reinforcement learning regimen, the likes of which have trained Google AlphaGo, song and video recommendation engines across the internet, as well as vehicle driver assist systems. Of course, while models like Stability AI's Stable Diffusion of Google's Ingram are trained to convert progressively higher resolution patterns of random dots into images, ATGs like ChatGPT remix text passages plucked from their training data to output suspiciously realistic, albeit frequently pedestrian, prose. They're trained on a very large amount of input, Dr. Peter Krapp, professor of film and media studies at the University of California, Irvine, told Engadget. What results is more or less an average of that input. It's never going to impress us with being exceptional or particularly apt or beautiful or skilled. It's always going to be kind of a competent to the extent that we all collectively are somewhat competent in using language to express ourselves. Generative AI is already big business. While flashy events like Stable Diffusion's maker getting sued by scraping training data from the Meta, or ChatGPT managing to schmooze its way into medical schools, yes, in addition to Wharton, grab headlines. Fortune 500 companies like NVIDIA, Facebook, Amazon Web Services, IBM, and Google are all quietly leveraging Gen AI for their own business benefit. They're using it in a host of applications, from improving search engine results and proposing computer code to writing marketing and advertising content. The secret to ChatGPT success: efforts to get machines to communicate with us, we do with other people, as Dr. Krapp notes. What a name, Dr. Krapp. That must have been fun growing up with. But anyway, began in the 1960s and 70s, with the linguistics being among the earliest adopters. They realized that certain conversations can be modeled in such a way that they're more or less self-contained, he explained. If you can have a conversation with, a stereotypical average therapist. That means I can also program the computer to serve as a therapist, which is how Elisa became the NLP Easter egg hidden in Emacs, the popular Linux text editor. Very interesting. Today, we use the technological descendants of those early efforts to translate the menus at fancy restaurants for us, serve as digital assistants on our phones, and chat with us as customer service reps. I hate those. They never even let you talk to an actual person, so if they don't know what you're doing, it's not going to work out for you. Anyways, I digress. The problem, however, is that to get an AI to perform any of these functions, it has to be specifically trained to do that one specific thing. We're still years away from functional general AI, but parts of ChatGPT impressive capabilities stem from its ability to write middling poetry as easily as it can generate fake set of terms of service for the True Social website and the voice of Donald Trump without the need for specialized training between the two. The prosaic flexibility is possible because at its core, ChatGPT is a chatbot. It's designed first and foremost to articulately mimic a human conversationalist, which it actually did on Reddit for a week in 2020 before being outed. It was trained using supervised learning methods, wherein the human trainers initially fed the model both sides of a given conversation, both what the human user and the AI agent were supposed to say. With the basics in the RoboMind, ChatGPT was then allowed to converse with humans, with its responses being ranked after each session. Interesting. So they basically just trained it. They put all these things in, and then they had humans go in and tweak it, it sounds like. Subjectively, better responses scored higher in the model's internal reward system and were subsequently optimized for. This has resulted in an AI with a silver tongue, but just sort of skimmed the wiki before churning in. Aptitude of fact checking. My apologies. Part of ChatGPT's boisterous success having garnered 100 million monthly active users. Wow. Just 2 months after its launch, in fact, can certainly be marked up to solid marketing strategies such as Too Dangerous, Neg of 2020, Natasha Allen, a partner of Foley and Lardner LLP, told Engadget, I think the other part is just how easy it is to use. You know, the average person can just plug in what words and there you go. People who previously hadn't been interested in AI, didn't really care what it was, are now beginning to take notice. Its ease of use is an asset, Allen argues, making ChatGPT something that is enticing and interesting to people who may not be into AI technologies. It's a very powerful tool, she conceded. I don't think it's perfect. I think that obviously there are some errors, but it'll get you 70 to 80% there. This is interesting. They put into ChatGPT, tell me about ChatGPT. Let's read it, shall we? ChatGPT is a conversational language model developed by OpenAI. It is a deep learning-based model trained on a large data set of text with the aim of generating human-like responses and questions. ChatGPT is part of GPT series of model and is based on the transformer architecture, which has been the state of the art in many NLP tasks. ChatGPT has the ability to generate text in a wide range of styles and topics and can answer questions, summarize long documents, generate creative writing, and perform other language tasks. That's cool. It knows what it is. I love it. Will Microsoft ChatGPT be Microsoft's Tay for a new generation? But a lot can go wrong in those last 20 to 30% because ChatGPT doesn't actually know what the words it's remixing into sentences mean. It's just understanding the statistical relationship between them. The GPT-3 hype is way too much. Sam Altman, ChatGPT's executive officer, right, CEO, chief executive, warned in July of 2020 in a tweet. It's impressive, but it still has serious weaknesses and sometimes makes very silly mistakes. Those silly mistakes range from making nonsensical comparisons like a pencil is heavier than a toaster to the racist bigotry we've seen with past chatbots like Tay. Tay was just a racist. That's interesting. Why? Well, really, all of them to date, if we're being honest. Some of ChatGPT's replies have even encouraged self-harm in its users, raising a host of ethical quandaries, not limited to should AI byline scientific research for both a company and field as a whole. I'm pretty sure telling someone to harm themselves is a little bit more than important than scientific guidelines. But I see what you're saying. It's a range, right? Let's continue. ChatGPT's capability for misuse is immense. We've already seen it put to use generating spam marketing and functional malware and writing high school essays. I don't know why that's a bad thing, Hey, if something can work right for you, Ivan. I guess, but then I hope they read it. Okay, I honestly see the downsides, see the ups and the downs. It can help you, if you actually use it. But if they just cheat it, yeah, fair enough. What are they actually learning? Let's continue. These are but petty nuisances compared to what may be in store once this technology becomes endemic. Fair enough. I'm worried because if we have deep fake video and voice tying with ChatGPT, where it can actually write something mimicking the style of how somebody speaks. Nunick said, those two things combined together are just a powder keg for convincing disinformation. I think it's gasoline on the fire because people write and speak in particular styles, she continued, and that can sometimes be the tell. If you see a deep fake and it just doesn't sound right, the way that they're talking about something, now, GPT very much sounds like the individual, both how they would write and speak. I think it actually amplifies the harm. Yeah, and even if ChatGPT's not there quite yet, I mean, in 10 years, it's going to be there. The current generation of celebrity impersonating chatbots aren't what would be considered historically accurate. Henry Ford's avatar isn't anti-Semitic, for example, but future improvements could nearly erase the lines between reality and created content. The first way it's going to be used is very likely to commit fraud, Nunick said, noting that scammers have already leveraged voice cloning software to pose as a mark's relative and swindle money from them. What? It's crazy. What? They believe? That's fat. How do they have their number? Wow. Really? I want more details on that. The biggest challenge is going to be how do we appropriately address it, because those deep fakes are out. You actually have the confusion, Nunick said. Sometimes it's referring to as the liar's dividend. Nobody knows if it's true, then sort of everything's a lie and nothing can be trusted. That's how you should operate in life anyways. Let's be honest. ChatGPT goes to college. Very nice. Congratulations. ChatGPT is raising heckles across academia as well. The text generator has notably passed the written portion of Wharton Business School's entrance exam, along with all 3 parts of the U.S. medical licensing exam. The response has been swift, as most panic scrambling in response to new technologies tend to be, but widely varied. The New York City public school system took a traditional approach and effectively banning the app's use by students. Yeah, banning. But how are you going to stop it at home? Well, educators like Dr. Ethan Malik, associate professor at the University of Pennsylvania's prestigious Wharton School, have embraced it and in their lessons plans. There you go. That's how you shove it back on the system. Get it? This was a sudden change, right? There is a lot of good stuff that we are going to have to do differently. But I think we could solve the problems of how we teach people to write in a world with ChatGPT, Malik told NPR in January. That's what I was saying. If you can actually, if people won't just cheat it and just use it for assignments and actually use it to learn, that sounds awesome. I use Grammarly like that. I look at what it says. I don't always agree with what it says, but it's a good second guess. Let's put it that way. The truth is, I probably couldn't have stopped them even if I didn't require it, he added. Instead, Malik has his students use ChatGPT as a prompt and idea generator for their essay assignments. That's awesome. He really has embraced it. USI's Dr. Crap, he's back, has taken a similar approach. I'm currently teaching a couple of classes where it was easy for me to say, okay, here's our writing assignment. Let's see what ChatGPT comes up with, he explained. I did the 5 different ways with different prompts or partial prompts, and then had the students work on how do we recognize that this is not written by a human and what we can learn from it. Well, they're that close already in a few years. By the time your students graduate, depending on the grade, I guess if they're freshmen, they might already be changed by the time they get out. But it's a cool concept. Why not? Is ChatGPT coming for your writing job? At the start of the year, tech news site CNET was outed for having used an ATG for its own design to generate entire feature-length financial explainer articles, 75 in all since November 2022. And they're convincing, I wonder? I haven't read them. The posts were supposedly rigorously fact-checked by human editors to ensure their output was accurate, though cursory examinations uncovered rampant factual errors, requiring CNET and its parent company, Red Ventures, to issue corrections and updates for more than half of the articles. CNET, what are you doing? See, this is what I'm saying. It's like the high school students. They just get lazy. They said, we fact-checked it. They clearly didn't. Come on, people at CNET, do your jobs. I mean, the thing is doing your job for you. You just have to copy edit. Come on. Let's go, CNET. You're better than this. BuzzFeed's chief, Jonah Peretti, upon seeing the disastrous fallout CNET was experiencing from the computer-generated dalliance? I don't know that word. Immediately decided to stick his tongue in the outlet too. Woo! Let's go. Announcing that his publication plans to employ Gen AI to create low-stakes content like personality quizzes. How's it going to know how to do that? I hope you're fact-checking it. This news came mere weeks after BuzzFeed laid off sizable portion of its editorial staff on account of challenging market conditions. The coincidence is hard to ignore. It definitely is. It's like you're firing people, and even when they had people fact-checking them, they couldn't do it right. especially given the waves of layoffs currently rocking the tech and media sectors for the specific reason. Even as the conglomerates themselves bathe in record revenue and earnings. I don't know if that's true for BuzzFeed, but I have to fact check that. I know BuzzFeed's not doing very well. It hasn't for years, let's be honest. This is not the first time the new technology has displaced existing workers. NYT economist Paul Krugman points to coal mining as an example. The industry saw a massive workforce reduction throughout the 20th century, not because of use of coal decreased, but because mining technologies advanced enough that fewer humans were needed to do the same amount of work. The same effect is seen in the automotive industry, with robots replacing people on assembly lines. I'm going to push back a little bit against this. Coal, no one wants to work in coal mines. And the people that still do work in coal mines, they make way more money than their predecessors. Automotive is probably they probably make a similar amount of money, but the work is way less mundane and it's more interesting. So I got to give a little bit of pushback there. It is difficult to predict exactly how AI will impact the demand for knowledgeable workers, as it will likely vary depending on the industry and specific job tasks, Krugman opined. However, it is possible that in some cases, AI and automation may be able to perform certain knowledgeable tasks more effectively than humans, potentially reducing the need for some knowledgeable workers. Everyone always talks trash about AI like it's going to take jobs away, which in a way it might, but it makes it so much easier for someone to start their own business. If you can go and hire someone and just what if you could have a robot automate your factory? A robot build all of this stuff for your factory. You know, you can make your own car company. So it will take away like mundane jobs, but like entrepreneurial jobs, it'll expand them dramatically. Anyway, let's continue. However, Dr. Krapp is not worried. I see that some journalists have said, "I'm worried. My job has already been impacted by digital media and digital distribution. Now the type of writing that I do, well, it could be done by computer and much more quickly. He said. I don't see that happening. I don't think that's the case. I think we still, as humans, have a desire for recognizing what humans about them. In others, what's human about them. Okay, I see what he's saying. Yeah, I don't know about, I mean, you kind of use it as like a baseline and you spruce it up, right? You want to put it into your words, I would think. The most basic articles can be written, but the best stuff that people actually really like and value, you're going to know it's human. I'd agree with Mr. Crap. ChatGPT is impressive. It's fun to play with, but we're still here, he added. We're still reading. It's still meant to be a human-size interface for human consumption, for human enjoyment. Fear not, for someone is sure to save us. Probably. ChatGPT's shared reality shredding fangs will eventually be capped. Nonik is confident whether by Congress or of course government's coming in, whether by Congress or the industry itself in response to public pressure. I actually think that there's bipartisan support for this. More government. Just make the government stop it, which is interesting in the AI space, she told Engadget. And in data privacy, data protection, we tend to have bipartisan support. She points to efforts in 2022 spearhead by OpenAI safety and alignment researcher Scott Arison to develop a cryptographic watermark so that the end user could easily spot computer-generated material, as one example of the industry's attempt to self-regulate. Yeah, well, there you go. Self-regulate. Get rid of the government. We don't need it. Basically, whenever GPT generates some long text, we want there to be an otherwise unnoticeable secret signal in that choices of words, which you can use to prove later that yes, this came from GPT. Harrison wrote in his blog. We want it to be much harder to take a GPT output and pass it off as it came from a human. This could be helpful for preventing academic plagiarism, obviously, but also, for example, mass generation of propaganda. I wonder what they mean, like how you can say it, like certain words. I mean, what if you just rewrite it? You let them write it, and then you rewrite it real quick. The efficacy of which a safeguard remains to be seen. It's very much whack-a-mole right now, Nenick explained. It's the company themselves making that moderation decision. There's no transparency in how they're deciding what types of prompt to block or not block, which is very concerning to me. Somebody's going to use this to do terrible things, she said. Okay, calm down. Okay, anyone could already learn how to do these terrible things. It's like, oh, they're going to use it to do terrible things. Calm down. Wait. Didn't Nenick just say that it's going to have a limit? She's back and forth. Nenick's a little bipolar. I like it. I do think people have to be careful. Who knows what could come from it? Deep fakes. People have to always be cognizant of this. What if someone goes and writes and says that someone else puts a picture on there? We've been dealing with this for 10 years. You know, fake spoof Twitters and everything. You just got to be knowledgeable. And then the blue check marks and stuff is helpful. If someone writes an article with ChatGPT and pretends it's theirs, who really even cares? If people enjoy it, they read it, they proofread it, and they like it, even if they didn't. If the AI spitting out good stuff, why do you hate it? I don't know. I think it's fine. I see some bad stuff like with it. Some of the voice generators and stuff, they're not that good. I don't think they're quite precise, but give it another 2 years, they're going to be spot on. So just be vigilant. I think that's what the world needs to do. I don't know if the world is ready for ChatGPT, to sum it all up, put a bow on top. I don't know. Probably not. Most people don't even know that this exists. It's going to be 30 years probably before everyone's caught on to this. But please tell me what you think. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think that ChatGPT is bad? Do you like it? Can we use it for business? Do we need regulations? Please let me know in the comments below. Also, please give this video a quick like, subscribe to the channel for daily news updates, hit that notification bell, don't forget, and share this video to help spread the news. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.